What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? It ain't morning time, is it? Well, as you can tell, I'm just getting up out the bed. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is doing well. We are here to talk about the Real Housewives of Rhode Island reunion part 2. I have so many thoughts floating around in my head about this reunion. First of all, um, this was a really good two-part reunion. To be honest, I almost feel like we could have squozed out 3 parts. What's up? Hey, my cancer sister. Hey, it's Momo. I almost feel like we could have squozed out a 3-parter out of this. Because honestly, you guys, there was I really wish we could have gotten deeper into. I mean, I know we touched on it. Do I think we had enough for a whole nother episode? I don't know. But I've seen them pull out 3-parters out of less. And I just feel like we left and it was just so much more we could talk about. But it's neither here nor there. My second observation that I have, and I'm gonna get into my notes, but let me say this. Joella, come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Joella, come here to the front. For your sake, for the sake of your marriage, for the sake of your family, I hope that there is no skeletons in your closet, because what you have done, Ruler, if Ruler comes back next season, which I think she will, even though she didn't give us a lot this season, but I think there's so much there with her story that I think they'll bring her back. And I think she'll want to come back. And I think she'll want to come back if for no other reason than to get your ass back. Joellen, you better not have a parking ticket that you ain't never paid for. You better not have ever accidentally kissed a man, woman. You better not have done anything that you have not disclosed to your husband, to your sister, to your parents. Because Ruler is going to stop at nothing to find any and every piece of evidence against you, gossip, rumor, whatever, baby. And it's gonna be you and her all next season. I'm just telling you what it's gonna be. It's gonna be you and her all next season. Now, the flip side of that is Joellen gave us a masterclass in receipts. Do I agree with what Joellen did? We're going to get there. But Joellen gave us a masterclass in how to bring a receipt. Angela Oakley, are you paying attention, Angela Oakley? Because that is how you bring a receipt. And the way she slow walked Ruler into that shit, baby, the way she interrogated Ruler like Ruler was on the witness stand and this was some sort of litigation going on. Listen, it was a masterclass. Now, whether you like Joellen or not, whether you think that Joellen was being a bully or a mean girl, all of those things can be true. But you know what else is true? She gave us a masterclass in how to do it. In 20 years of Housewives, I don't think I have ever seen such surgical breakdown of receipts. Now, you ain't got to like Joellen, and you don't have to agree with what Joellen did, but baby, that was surgical. Do you understand? Now, I'm just going, listen, I ain't saying I liked it because we're going, like I said, we're going to get there. My other observation is even after giving Joe Ellen her props on the fact that she was surgical and doing it and how she did it, but I also have to come back around to this. Girl, why are you so invested? I know she said, well, she called me a liar. Of course she called you a liar. She called you a liar because she's not ready to accept that her husband is the liar. So somebody has to be the liar. It is clear that this, see, here's the thing, Joellen, it wasn't personal against you. It was, I'm not ready to accept that my husband is lying to me. So I have to call you the liar because I don't want to accept that he's the liar, even though I know he's the liar. Do you understand? We have all been around. We have all been, either we've been on the receiving end of this or we've been the person doing it. We've all been in this scenario. Somebody brings you some information and you're not ready to accept the information that the person brought you. So you have a choice at that point. And the choice is either I'm going to be mad at the person over here, or I'm going to be mad at it's just, don't kill the messenger. That's what it is. So Joellen, you really took this personal when it wasn't personal. And you know it wasn't personal. She wasn't ready to accept. She clearly still ain't ready to accept what's going on in her marriage. She's not ready to walk away. She's not ready to leave it. And that's why sometimes you got to sit in the pocket of, am I going to bring this information to this person or not? And Joellen, you sitting there talking about, I was bringing this to you because I was looking out for you. That's bullshit. You were never looking out for her. Let me tell you why you brought that information to Joellen. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Thank you, C. Watkins. Thank you, boo. Joellen, y'all ready to hear this? You were so vested in this situation because you're friends with the mistress and you want the mistress to win. Let's call a thing a thing. You're friends with the mistress and you want the mistress. Oh, Quake, listen. Quake, me and you be right here, girl. Me and you. Quake, me and you be right here. Because you friends with that woman and you want her to win. That's why you're so vested. That's why you're so insistent. Because the more Ruler was reading those receipts, Ruler had not Ruler, Joellen. Joellen had the text messages between those two. Joellen had private, the private text messages between Brian and the mistress. That when Joellen was reading those things, oh, and he said that your butt smells like garlic. First of all, that was so stupid, Joellen. That's when you just cross the line into just mean girl shit. Like, why would you even repeat something like that? Like, that was just some mean girl shit. But at the end of the day, you're reading private text messages. There's only one way you got those messages, and that came from the mistress. You kept saying, well, I know her in passing. Da, da, da. No, y'all are friends. And that's how you knew everything. And that's how you knew everything the whole season. And yes, that was her storyline, true enough. But if I'm going to be fair, Joellen did bring us more than just that. Joellen did bring us the storyline with her mom. Joellen brought us more than just her obsession with Ruler. Now, she made it her storyline of the reunion. You know what I mean? She made it the storyline of the reunion. But Joellen brought us more than just that. I mean, if I'm going to be fair, I'm going to be fair. Joellen brought us more than just the ruler of it all. But you want your friend to win. Thank you, Istish. Thank you, boo. Come on back later on tonight on my other. Well, it's gonna be on this channel too. Come on back later on tonight, and we're gonna my tribe meeting today is gonna be a birthday / tribe meeting. I think I had originally scheduled it for 8:30, but I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go back to my regular tribe meeting time. So it'll be at 6:45. It'll be at the regular time. So let's get into this reunion. I do have some notes. Let's talk about it because I just had to give y'all my thoughts before I forgot because it was so much. Like it's so much going on all at the same time. Now, overall, it was a great reunion, part one and part two. They were really good reunions. And this is why we need to stop with the 3-part reunion, because what ends up happening is y'all end up scrambling for content for a third part, which ends up being freaking boring, and you're stretching out shit that don't need to be stretched out. Now, some seasons, yeah, we had 3 parts that we needed to really get into. But in other situations, like every season doesn't need a 3-part. Hell, every season don't need a 2-part, if I'm being honest. But maybe because there's so much to talk about, maybe. But in all reality, child, we don't need all these 3-part reunions. This was a great 2-part reunion. It was a great first season. Rhode Island, I think, shocked a lot of us, myself included, because baby, I was on the fence. I was like, I don't know if I want to be talking about these ladies up in Rhode Island. I don't know. But baby, after like the second episode, I was like, oh, I'm here. And I know we got behind, but we didn't get behind because I wasn't interested. We got behind because of time, because it was the end of the school year. I had a lot going on and time was just not on my side. But baby, this was a really good season. And we know that they've already been picked up for season 2. So we know we're getting a guaranteed season 2. And I believe everybody from season 1 was extended a contract for season 2. Although I heard a rumor that Liz might not be coming back. I can see Liz not coming back. For a variety of reasons. The whole legal stuff, I think, sort of backfired on Liz and her husband. I don't think they saw that. I don't know why they didn't see that coming, but I don't think they saw that coming. I think that's why they tried to steer us in the direction of, oh, everybody think we're having a reunion. I mean, an affair. Girl, nobody worried about you having an affair with that man. We want to know if you was selling the you-know-what with that man. We want to know if you and your husband was a part of his organization. We don't care nothing about you sleeping with that man. And so I think I can see that Liz may not come back. The other thing is, you could tell from the reunion, Liz was just over it. She was over these women. She was over it. I think Liz. And if somebody was telling me that Liz and Dolores fell out over this, so I don't know. I think this is the risk that you run when you're dealing with people that really do have money and really do have other things going on in their life. They can walk away. They can say, this is not me. I don't need this in my life. I have money. I have a good life. I have a good family. I got a husband. I lost a good friend over this. Hopefully, if that's true, her and Dolores can get it back on track. But and it's almost like you have to find the perfect mix of somebody who has money but also has an ego, right? They want this. They want the celebrity. They want the attention. They want the fame. They want that. They sort of need that attention. So, and I don't think Liz is one of those people. So I don't know if it's true. It's just a rumor. You know how these things go. Whenever the show is over, we start hearing all these rumors about who's staying, who's going, who's this, and who's that. So we'll know. Y'all know we'll know in a few minutes. Okay, where's my notes? That's my BET notes. Okay. So let's talk about Kelsey and the boyfriend of it all. So first of all, Kelsey kind of shocked me. She said that her boyfriend actually was going to do the show until he found out it was Housewives. So for a lot of people that don't know how this goes, most of the time when they're doing these pilots, they're not called the Real Housewives of ... A lot of these women are filming a pilot. Is usually called, it's got another title, another working title. So this might have been called, I don't know, Millionaires of Rhode Island or some shit. I don't know. And then once Bravo picks it up, then Bravo Bravo has the option of making it a Real Housewife vehicle. Bravo has picked up other shows that they haven't made a Real Housewife vehicle. They've kept it, whatever. But generally speaking, it can become, I remember there was a show, this was pre-COVID. I think it aired during COVID, but they obviously filmed it pre, and it was a town down in Texas that was like right on the border. And it was a mainly Latino cast. I remember there was one lady who was like studying for her citizenship exam. Her visa was getting ready to run out. And it was like these families, and they were like right on the border. So a lot of them were, Mexican or had families, and they had a little money, they were comfortable, whatever. And it was a decent show. It was really a decent show, but it wasn't called The Real Housewives of blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what it was called now. And I reviewed it. I mean, so it's somewhere in my, you could go back and find it. It's somewhere in the playlist. But that might have been an example of a show that was filmed under a working title. Bravo picked it up, but Bravo didn't make it a housewife show. Bravo kept it as whatever the hell they made it. I can't remember the name of it now. So he didn't realize once it became a Real Housewives show, he was like, no. And she said because he watches Real Housewives, and he was like, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't know how much I believe that. Only reason why I say I don't know how much I believe that is because if he did watch Housewives, he had to know that he was still going to become part of the conversation. Like, there's absolutely no way in this current world of social media and access to social media and internet detectives, there's no way that if he watches Real Housewives that he thought he was going to be able to remain anonymous and not a storyline. Like, Kelsey has nothing else going on in her life. That was going to be her storyline. So I don't know how much I believe that he was on board until he found out it was Housewives. I think maybe when him and Kelsey maybe were in a good space, maybe he was willing to film, and then they were no longer in a good space, and he just was like, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. That's just my opinion. I don't know that to be the case, but that's just how I feel. She also talked about the timeline of it all. Now, if I'm being honest, I still don't believe her timeline story. I don't. She said we broke up all the time. I mean, we would break up. Sometimes I was at the house, sometimes I wasn't. I mean, we broke up all the time. We broke up all the time. We broke up all the time. And the only reason why I say I don't know if I necessarily believe that is just because of the way the timeline still just don't make no damn sense. It just doesn't make sense. Again, I feel like as a favor to you, he allowed you to film at the house. But I don't think you were living at that house when y'all were filming at that house. I don't. I think maybe you had access, but I don't think you were living there. But that's just my opinion. Right, especially with his dad being a famous judge. Yeah, I just, they talked about the fact that she had a brain tumor. She was diagnosed with a brain tumor, but she pushed the surgery back so she could compete in the Miss Rhode Island pageant. Now, to be fair, I know people do it all the time. People push off surgeries all the time for whatever their reasons are. Athletes do it. They want to wait till after the season is over. People do it. Oh, I have a vacation coming up. Or, oh, I have a really big event at work I need to get done. Oh, I'm getting married. But she said she had a brain tumor the size of a golf ball. I mean, I guess it's a good thing you won. The other thing that I thought was very interesting, and I don't necessarily believe Kelsey either, is this whole thing about the escort came up. Now, y'all remember we talked about that during the season. They said it was AI, it wasn't real. Kelsey said it wasn't real, it was AI, whatever. But when Kelsey gave her explanation of this fake advertisement for escorting services, she said it wasn't her, it was fake, somebody did it, but she knows who did it, and it was somebody that was a part of her friend group, and she was an actual escort in real life. So are you saying that the person was catfishing, like they were using your picture, but they were the real escort? And then you said it was somebody that was a part of your friend group, but you said that real casual, like if some, and let's be clear, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna look my nose. I'm not gonna say I would look my nose down on somebody that's an escort. I mean, I have friends that have done all sorts of things. I mean, it is what it is. But you were real casual about telling that story. Like you didn't say, that's a former friend. You didn't say when like you were just real casual about, well, that was somebody that was in my friend group who was an escort, and she used it. Like if she had said, listen, that was somebody that I knew I was cool with, that was catfishing people with my picture. She was actually the one that was the escort, but she was using my picture to catfish people. Like, but girl, your story didn't make no sense and it was way too fucking casual for me. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm putting 20 on 10. Maybe I'm putting 20 on 10, but it was way too casual for me. Am I tripping? She didn't say it was cancer. She said it was a brain tumor. I can believe Kelsey was an escort and Dino was her PIMP. Ooh. Oh. I'm going to just be honest and tell y'all, in my opinion, and I'm not calling that woman no escort because ain't nobody going to come and sue me. I don't know what that lady do. I don't know what she did. I don't know what she do. What I am going to say is, I'm just going to sip my tea. I'm just going to sip my tea. That's what I'm going to do. Just going to sip it. They have a high escort interview on YouTube. She makes $500,000 a year after taxes and owns 2 houses in Greece. Listen, I'm not looking my nose down on it. Y'all know I don't judge people for that type of stuff. I just don't. All I'm saying is her story is an interesting story. That's all I'm gonna say about that. If that's what that lady do, that's what that lady do. I'm not judging her. Now let's talk about this whole situation with Rosie's house. She was like, she didn't care about Rosie's house. And even Andy had to say, well, you seem like you did. Rosie was like, look, I don't know nothing about the square footage of no house, okay? That's what my man told me. She said, because we originally were going to put a third floor on the house. We're going to add a floor to the house. So that's where the extra square footage was coming from. We decided not to do that. And so there it is. Like at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't care and I don't know. But I do find it very rich. There's somebody that barely got an apartment. Because she said that she now living with the new boyfriend. So somebody that barely has an apartment is worried about the square footage of somebody's house. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and be honest with y'all. If somebody were to say to me, what's the square footage of your home? I don't know. And that's real talk. I have no fucking idea. I would literally have to go. I'm pointing upstairs because that's where my file cabinet is. I would literally have to go look at my paperwork. I don't know. And so if I were to buy a new home, obviously, I'm sure I knew when I bought my house. I'm sure it was something, obviously. If I were to go out and start shopping for a new home, I'm sure I would be a lot more cognizant of square footage, like what that looks like. Oh, this is this type of a square footage. That's what it translates to. That's what it looks like in a house. Okay, cool. But in all reality, I don't fucking know. So if I had a husband who said, hey, we can already put an addition on the house and it's going to add XYZ amount of square footage to the home, I'd be like, oh, okay, boo. Sound good to me. Don't nobody, like Kelsey, you were really paying attention to all the wrong shit. What you should have been doing was asking Rosie to show you how to buy a house. That's what you should have been doing. Like, girl, what did I have to do? And then when Rosie was like, well, my name is on the house, like we bought the house together. I sold my condo and I put money down on the house. This lets you know how Kelsey doesn't connect. Hey, Leslie. Hey, boo. Because Leslie did. I mean, Kelsey. I said Leslie. Kelsey doesn't even understand what she was saying because she thought that Rosie was saying, I sold my condo and I paid and I bought the home with the money from the condo. No, she said she used that as the down payment. That's what she said. She said she bought her condo and she put money on the down payment. So that's why both of their names are on the home. That's what she was saying. So Rosie was like, "Oh my gosh, that's a lie. That's a lie." Because your house costs this and even Andy was like, "No, that's not what she said." And Kelsey, I mean, Rosie was like, "That's how it works. Like that's how you buy a house. Like I never said that I paid for the house with the money from the sale of my condo. I didn't say that." But once again, Rosie, I mean, Kelsey, you're too vested in this shit because why do you know the former owners of her home? And why do you know that she said, well, from my understanding, those were the plans from the original, the owners that you bought the house from before. First of all, who gives a fuck? Like again, if I'm buying a house and the person before me was in the process, they had already, because it could have been something as simple as this. Because anybody who's bought a house knows that you can add and subtract all kinds of things to a contract for a home. When I bought my house, I told y'all this before. My house was a short sale. It was a divorced couple. I mean, it was a couple that was getting divorced and they had to get rid of the house and they had to get rid of the house really quickly. They were behind on their homeowners dues by like 2 years. Like, so of course I wasn't going to pay for that. All of that's very clearly written out in my contract that this is the amount of money that they owed. This is the amount of money that they were taking out of the sale of the house to go. Like it was very clearly written out. Like when you go to buy a house, all kinds of stuff can be added and subtracted to the contract of a home. So this could have been something as simple as the people who owned the house before Rosie and her husband, they had already paid an architect to draw up plans for to add an addition to the home, to add the pool. Architect plans aren't cheap. That could have been something like when they were looking at the house that they added in and said, well, for an extra $5,000, we'll go ahead and give you these plans that we've already paid for. We paid $10,000 to get the architect to draw up these plans to put in an addition. We were going to put in a pool. We were going to expand the garage. We're going to do this and do that. So again, that's not a read. It's not a read to say, oh, well, my understanding is that those were the plans that the former owners were. That's not a read. Maybe the former owners were going to expand the house and add an addition, but then one of them got a job in California and they had to sell the house. Like that's not a read. Exactly, Sean. Kelsey, you fumbled the ball because you was dating a damn millionaire for 10 years and you couldn't even walk away and pay your own fucking car insurance. I mean, maybe you could, but hello. Anyway. Whatever. I want to buy a home that's either a short sale or foreclosure in great good condition. Everything else is cosmetics. That's what my house was. I mean, they hadn't done a lot of upgrades to my house, but that's all, like you said, that was all cosmetic. That was all cosmetic. They had put a new roof on. Boom. The roof, when I bought my house, the roof was only like 2 years old. Boom. Look, knock on wood. But since I bought my home, I have had to replace the HVAC. Y'all remember when my air conditioner went out? I did have to replace the HVAC system, and I've gotten a hot water heater, and I've replaced all of my appliances at this point. I've gotten new washer and dryers. I've gotten a new refrigerator. I've gotten a new oven, and I've gotten a new dishwasher. I've replaced all of that stuff. But when I first bought the house, I didn't have all of that stuff was working fine when I first bought my house. But over time, I've replaced all of those things. So yeah, and I've done some upgrades. I mean, I still have things I want to do. There's still more I want to do to my house, but I've done things. But yeah, baby, when I bought my house, I stepped into equity. I had equity from day one because I didn't pay market value for my house. Anyway, moving right along. So all of that was just crazy to me. Do you have warranties for the hot water? Oh, yeah. Yeah, why wouldn't I have warranties? Yeah. Absolutely. Before we get to Joellen and Rula. Let me talk about Liz for a second. I mean, Alicia. I wrote Liz in my notes, but I meant Alicia because once we get on Rula and Joelle, and that's pretty much the rest of the episode. So let me talk about this Alicia situation. Alicia, you're just a fucking idiot. I have totally changed my opinion on. I have totally changed my opinion on Alicia's boyfriend, fiance. In the beginning, I was like, that is a terrible, like, why would he do that to her? He don't put her name on the house. He doesn't give her any equity in the thing. That's messed up. That's messed up. That's messed up. But as the season went on, I started, and y'all can look at my reviews. I even said, I'm kind of starting to understand why he ain't put her name on nothing, because she's not that, she's really not that bright. And maybe he doesn't feel like she has the capacity to be able to handle the business if and when he's no longer here. Now I'm totally convinced. I'm convinced that Alicia is taken care of, but Alicia is absolutely not touching no parts of that business. Alicia's an idiot. Alicia said, this man said, I have tried to sit down and talk to her. I have tried to explain these things to her. I've explained to her the trust. I've explained to her this. He did say that maybe he fumbled the prenup situation. He said, but again, it sounds like he had his attorney write up the prenup. She had an attorney, and he was like, we sent the prenup to her attorney. Basically, you know, because it's a negotiation, right? It's a negotiation. So, like, you say you want this, I say I want that. It's a give and take thing. And basically, Alicia did not participate in the process of making the prenup. And he was like, and she was like, and he was like, so I you know, he said, I am an attorney, so maybe I handled that a little too business like. But yes, the house is in a trust, and he was like, I've explained that. And let me be clear, I'm not a money person. Like, my brain, like I told y'all, my brain, the one class I never want to teach is microeconomics and macroeconomics. Out of the whole social studies bubble, those are the two classes I never want to have to teach, because it's not my brain. That's just not how my brain works. And sometimes I've had to tell people, you got to explain that to me like I'm a 5-year-old, because what I know is I need to understand it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it may not, like, my brain may not work that way. And yes, it may be boring. And yes, my brain might start going, woo-doo-doo-doo. But I know I need to understand these things. I'm an adult. And so I need to understand money. I need to understand what this looks like and what that is. And when people start talking about, you know, APR, fixed rate, this, and this, it might make my brain hurt. And it does. I'm just being very transparent. It does make my brain hurt. But you need to have these conversations. And if this man is saying, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Let's look at what's coming into the house. Let's look at what's going out of the house. Let's look at how these things are happening. Like, that is Alicia, girl, shut up. And then you're annoying. Like, you're fucking annoying. Like, the way, like, even Andy you can see that Andy was frustrated, because the more we heard from your boyfriend, the fact that he even bought paperwork and was like, look, I will give you 50% of the damn restaurant if you will just take our daughter to fucking dance every day. Now, here's what I understand. I do understand that some people have anxiety, right? She said that she literally hit somebody. I can understand how that can be a mental block and that can give you anxiety. And I can understand how she said that their daughter's school is about an hour away from their house. It's like, it sounds like it's a hump of a drive. Like, that's a long way to take somebody to dance class. And I think she goes like 2 or 3 times a week. Like, that is a hump. However, I feel like for 50% of a business that you've been begging to be a part of, I don't think that's a big sacrifice. Like, get you a therapist. Get you somebody to ride with you. You said, does my mom count? All right, be creative with it. All that man is saying is, can you take something off my plate? Like, because you don't like to drive more than 10 miles out, she said anything longer than a 15, 20-minute drive. So because you don't like to drive 20 minutes outside of your house, again, I get it. People have anxiety about these things. But the flip side of that is, baby, you better get creative and figure out a way to make it happen. There you go, V Spence. Alicia has the mental maturity of a 12-year-old. Boom, there it is. He said up to 50%. Well, hell, anything is better than what she got now. But that's why they told her to read it. I mean, but he even told her to read it. Like, they told her to read it before she signed it. And she even said then, I don't care. No, I agree. Cheap 83. I agree that she should have read it and all of that. But what I'm saying is, at the beginning of this show, she made it seem like this man was so horrible, and he was just like, he wouldn't give her anything. She had the kid. They've been together for 10 years. She didn't even know. Like, I was thinking that this was just one of those like controlling, misogynistic, I got it kind of things. And the more we're seeing her and the more we're learning, that ain't quite what it was. But anyway, let's get into Rula and Joellen, because that's pretty much the rest of the episode. If anything else that I forgot, y'all can drop it in the chat and I'll address it. But let's talk about it. So first of all, Joellen, and if you just coming in, I was saying at the beginning of this that Joellen gave us a master class, whether we liked it or not, but she gave us a master class in how you drop a receipt and what kind of receipts. Baby, when she started asking Rula about the timeline of her marriage, bitch. Baby. In my mind, I was thinking abort mission. Rula, don't say nothing. Because you could tell that Joellen was asking questions that she knew the answer to for a reason. I agree with everything y'all are saying. Joellen is exhausting. Joellen looked crazy. I agree with all of that. However, two things can be true at the same time, because we talked about that. Joellen absolutely, like the obsession was crazy. The obsession was crazy, but it don't change the fact that Joellen was surgical in that shit. When she asked that lady, well, when did y'all get married? Well, first she started off by saying, well, didn't you have an affair with Brian while he was still married? And Rula was like, no, I met Brian 2 years after his divorce. Baby, she was like, well, when did he get divorced? When did y'all get married? When did you get pregnant? Baby, and Rula was spouting off them dates. She was giving them years. Baby, Joellen said, well, according to the court, and these are the court documents, according to the court, boom, 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 boom. I said, damn. So this goes beyond an affair, right? This goes beyond an affair. This man lied to you about when he got divorced. And this is how we know Brian was lying. Because when they brought the men out and they brought it back up, and Rula was like, Brian, explain it to her, because she's bringing up some court stuff. Explain it. Explain it. Explain it. Baby, Brian was like, first of all, when Brian said the year that he got divorced didn't match the year that Rula said he got divorced, you knew right then. I said, oh, damn. So what I'm going to tell y'all what Brian did. Because this happened to me. I told y'all this story. This happened to me. Actually, the last serious relationship I was in, I ain't had a boyfriend since. And this was, I ain't gonna tell y'all how long ago it was, but it was pre-COVID. I mean, I've dated since, but I haven't been in a committed relationship since. Let me be clear. What happened was he was separated from his wife, but he wasn't divorced. And when he met Rula, he probably told Rula that he was divorced when he wasn't. And when the divorce was final, he couldn't tell Rula that the divorce was final because he had already told her he was divorced. So when they met, he told Rula, oh, I was divorced in 2010, when he really wasn't divorced until, I don't forgot what year it was, but it was after. And even Brian confirmed that. Now, Brian still didn't confirm the date that Joellen had, still wasn't the date that Brian had. But if you paid attention to Brian's face, when Rula brought it up, Brian was like, well, these things drag on. I mean, divorces, you go back and forth. Not when it's final, because when it's final, it's final. When your divorce is final, your divorce is final. So it's no more, unless there are kids involved, there's no more back and forth after divorce. There's no more back and forth. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Joellen had her on the stand. She sure did. She was surgical with it. Again, we can say that Joellen did too much and she went too far, which I do think she did. I think she went too far. I think she was doing too much. But baby, she was ready. Oh, she was. Who at my door? I think that's just a package being delivered, child. My Ring camera isn't working. I need to get it fixed. I need to figure out what's going on with my Ring camera. Because anybody ringing my doorbell at 1 o'clock in the middle of the day ain't here for nothing. Anybody that need to get me can get in my door. They got the code to get in my door. So, so the marriage thing, which Brian clearly lied about. Then, of course, we get into the whole affair of it all. When Rula was explaining that Brian made her, that her and another person were part owner of the business, and Andy was like, well, did Brian tell you about it? And she was like, well, yeah, but I didn't like it. He didn't tell you about it till he had to. He didn't tell you about it till he had to. You ain't know prior to. Probably you didn't know until that lady filed that lawsuit. And then every question they asked Brian, he talking about something, well, it's an NDA, I can't talk about it. It's an NDA, I can't talk about it. That's an NDA, I can't talk about it. Baby, the NDA... First of all, that NDA been broken. Because both of y'all been talking. The mistress been talking and you've been talking. So whatever NDA y'all have unless this is a new NDA. And even if it's a new NDA, the mistress done broke the new NDA because the mistress been posting ever since after the reunion. The mistress been posting receipts. Baby, let me tell you what the mistress said after Sunday night's episode, baby. The mistress said, hold on, let me find it for y'all. Hold on, let me find it. Uh-oh, did I take a screenshot of it? Uh-oh, damn. Did I not? I ain't take a screenshot. Oh, yes, I did. I about to say, I know I did. The mistress then posted a picture of her hand with a ring on it. With Brian in the background. It's a picture of her and Brian in the car. And the mistress said, what you're looking for isn't on my social media posts. It's in my phone. I've got screenshots, videos, and audio recordings that will shock your entire nervous system. Who's leaving, Quake? The NDA has nothing to do with what they're talking about. Right, that NDA don't have nothing to do with what they're talking about. Who's leaving? You said the feds are coming for her and her husband. What y'all talking about? Did something just happen? What feds? Who y'all talking about? Oh, Liz is leaving. I heard the rumor. Liz might be about to be in the clank in a minute. Her attorney probably told her, you might want to get up off that show. Then they were talking about, and then Joella had all of these receipts. Joella asked about a Chanel bag. Baby, let me tell y'all something. I felt, and Rula hasn't been my favorite person on the show, not for any particular reason, but I felt so bad for Rula. And like Liz said, you're definitely not a girl's girl, Joellen. You're definitely not a girl's girl, because at a certain point you had to see where Rula was physically, like she was crying, like you had to see. And again, you weren't hurting Brian in that moment. You were hurting Rula. And I understand that you were like, well, she called me a liar and I'm gonna prove I'm not a liar. You've proven it. Your point has been proven, but you kept going and kept going and kept going. Proving that you're not a liar didn't have anything to do with you bringing up that the man said she smelled. Like, now you're just trying to humiliate her. And again, was it entertaining? Sure, it was entertaining. I mean, as a viewer, yes. But it was, you were trying to humiliate that woman. Because at the end of the day, what did you expect Rula to do in that moment? Do you expect Rula to jump up and say, Brian, I want a divorce, and run off the stage? Like, you had to know you weren't going to get anything more than what you were getting. Rula did not have the capacity to give you more than what you were giving. Like, okay, so the man bought her a Chanel bag. Okay, so the affair wasn't over. And of course, Brian was lying to Rula. And then even about the tracker, Joellen was like, girl, I told you why that tracker was on your car. I told you that man was tracking you so he would know where you were so that he could comfortably go out with her. And I was like, well, that makes fucking sense. And then Brian even said he couldn't talk about that. Sir, the case was dismissed. You can talk about it. It's over. The case is dismissed. You can talk about anything you want. You can explain why you put a track on that woman's car. You can explain why you put a track on that woman's car. The case was dismissed. And the case was probably only dismissed because Rula was no longer willing to participate. She wasn't going to testify. The case didn't get thrown out because you weren't guilty. The case got thrown out because your wife was like, oh, no, I'm not going to be a part of this. Sean, is that an article? You said the boat ride is what is there an article or something that you can point me to? Because you said something else about the feds. If it's an article, I want to read it. Please, if you have an article or something like that, because I want to read it. You said, then don't call Joellen a liar. But here's the thing. I understand Joellen saying, girl, I wasn't lying. Here's the proof. But I just feel like at a certain point, girl, like going down to the fact that this man talked about her, talked about how she smelled. Like, that's not about Joellen that's not about her calling her a liar. That's just being mean at that point. Because listen, you did, and if you wanted to show, you could have shown me those texts. You didn't have to bring, like, if you want to talk about the timeline of us getting married, you want to talk about the timeline of him being with the mistress, you want to talk about that he was still seeing the mistress after he took, that's great, fine. But I just think Joellen took it too far. Again, was it entertaining? Sure. Was it surgical? Yes. But I just think getting into, oh, the man said your butt smelled like garlic. Like, come on. Like, I probably would have stopped, but I understand why Joellen didn't. We would have beef forever if they called my job. Now, you know what? Now that part. You know what? Let's go back. But again, I still say the person you're embarrassing though is Rula, when the person you really are mad at is Brian. Because now I forgot about the job part. Now, when you bring up the job part, because I do think Brian is the reason why she lost her job. I do think Brian is the reason why she lost her job. She said that, and then Rula was like, that's not why you lost your job. You lost your job because you were using your company credit card to pay for stuff you couldn't afford. then if that were the case, then Joellen would have just gotten fired outright and not laid off. See, there's a difference between getting fired and laid off. If they found out that she was misusing her company credit card, she would have absolutely been walked off her job. They wouldn't have waited until they were doing a massive layoff and Joellen was the one caught up in it. If they had cause to fire her, they would have fired her. And I'm not saying, I mean, sometimes people say, hey, we're not going to press charges so you can go get another job. Like, we know things are said, but I don't know. I think that's some shit that Brian told Rula and Rula's just repeating. But you're right. I forgot about the job part. And then come to find out that Liz was vindicated when Brian confirmed that he was the one that talked to Gary about Liz being out. And Rula was like, I didn't know. He didn't tell me. I didn't know. Girl, your husband ain't telling you a lot of stuff. Your whole marriage is built on a lie. Because now, Rula, you do need to get an attorney. I know you're not going to, but you do need to get an attorney and find out the timeline of the marriage versus when y'all got married. You do. That friend they said Liz cheated with was indicted by the feds. No, Sean, okay. So you don't, okay. All right. So you don't have an article or something. Okay. No, we've already talked about all of that. I thought something recently came out, like, because we don't know that to be a fact. We know Dino was indicted. And from what I read, now again, that's why I'm asking if you have something else. From what I read, they were talking about all of the phone calls between Liz and Dino and the frequency of the phone calls. I didn't read anywhere where that they were interested in that boat. That's why I was asking. Now, I have my thoughts, but that's why I wanted to know if there was an article or something, because I definitely have my thoughts. Oh, Rula absolutely know that man is. Let me tell y'all something. At this point, the fact that Rula and Brian are still together even after this fucking reunion, girl, let that man cheat in peace. I don't want nobody next season to listen. I'm here for the Rula Joellen feud next season. I'm here for it. Because Rula, like I said at the beginning of this, you better hope, Joellen, you better hope that you ain't got a jaywalking ticket. Because Rula, if Rula is smart, baby, Rula done got herself a private investigator to look up any and everything about you, your husband, your mama, your daddy. Like, baby, you better hope your daddy wasn't in the mob. You better hope your mom, like all of that. Like, Rula, let me give you some good shit. Are you listening to me? Rula, come here, baby. Rula, come here. Come here. Come here. Rula, if you smart, where I would start, if it were me, you know where I would start? I would start with what really happened when your mama sent you away. What's the real story? Because I don't believe Joellen's version of the story. I don't think it was that her mama overreacted and she was just being a teenager being a teenager. I don't believe that. I believe it's more to the story. Wasn't it Liz that said that, was it Liz or Rula? One of them said she got kicked out of high school. Girl, go get them receipts. Go get the receipts. Baby, go get that paperwork. Go find, if there's any now, if she got a juvenile record, you're not going to be able to get the juvenile record. But what you can do is find out where did her mama send her? Why do people get sent there? You can listen. I would even go talk to her mama. Her mama mad at her right now. Girl, go talk to her mama. Take her mama out to lunch. She got any friends? Y'all all know each other. She got any friends from high school she not friends with no more? Anybody she fell out with? Any former old co-workers? Bitch. The way I would get surgical on Joellen and her life, the way I would come back ready next season, the way I would just strategically drop shit here and there and create conversations, baby, please. Baby, please. And that would be my focus. My focus would be, what's the real story? Why your mama send you away not once but twice? You know that's a sore spot for her. You know that's sort of like an Achilles heel for her. Baby, that is the conversation I would be having. Fuck all this. Why your mama send you away? What's the real story? Oh, I got the real tea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Rosie would be down for the get down. Who else would be down? Liz ain't coming back, but Liz would have been down for the get down because you could tell Liz ain't fucking with Joellen, especially after this reunion. Liz ain't fucking with her. Actually, she not. That ain't her thing. But baby, Rosie would be down for the get down. Baby, the way I would invite Rosie out to lunch and tell Rosie this tea, baby, that would be the first scene I would film. The very first scene I would film, I would tell production, I want to film a lunch with Rosie. I found some information out about Joella and I want to talk about it. I mean, that's what they tell the production. That's how they do these things, baby. From what I heard Liz is not coming back. I don't know if she's made an official announcement. Yeah, that was my package being delivered. I don't know if they've made an official announcement, but that's the rumor that I heard, was that Liz wasn't coming back. Rula is friends with Joella's ex-neighbor. She had the tea. Rula needs to film with her again, bring her on as a friend up. That's what I'm saying, Cheap 83. That's by diabolical. Baby, that's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. I'm just telling you. Because listen, Joella, you created this moment. You got round one, but bitch, I'm going to get round two. You got round one. Joella, you got round one. Whether people liked it or not, Joella, you got round one. You sure did. You got it. You got round one, but I'm going to get round two. Y'all know y'all getting a season 2, which means you know y'all are going to be filming. The day Bravo called me and tell me we renewing you for season 2, baby, I'm calling who is the best private, and I wouldn't even get a private investigator from Rhode Island because the way they all know each other, absolutely not. I would call down to New York. You got the money, baby. I would call down to New York. I would not hire anybody in the state of Rhode Island. Absolutely not. They all know each other. No, I'm calling somewhere totally different. I'm going down to New York. I'm gonna find me a good old private investigator, and I'm gonna sit down with that. I'm gonna go down to New York. I ain't even gonna have that person come up to Rhode Island. I'm going down to New York. I'm gonna meet with them, and I'm gonna say, listen, this is what I need. I have a friend whose mom sent her away. I need to know what the real story is. I need to know what happened. Like, she may have a juvenile record. I know you can't access it, but can you see if she was arrested? Because sometimes even when somebody has a juvie record, you can see that they were arrested. You just can't see why. You can't see what it's for. What did she graduate from high school? Did she have any long absences from high school? Like, again, I don't know what all the laws are with stuff like that, and what this, how many years out that they can give you certain information. But a private investigator can know. A private investigator can find it. And like you said, I'm gonna talk to the neighbor. I'm gonna call it Joella's friends from high school. Who was she friends with in high school? Y'all know. Liz know. Liz may decide not to come back on this show, but Liz can help you out. Rula. Call Liz. Liz know who Joella was friends with in high school. Liz know. Liz got some. Listen. As much as Liz tried to act like her and Joellen wasn't really friends, I don't believe that. I believe her and Joellen were friends. And I believe she might have some skeletons in that closet. She might know where some of them skeletons are. I'm just telling you. Skeletons in your closet. Not us plotting. Listen, I'm just saying, because baby, look, whether you liked it or not, baby, that shit was surgical that Joellen did. And I'm gonna be honest, in the 20 years of Housewives, and I have not seen every single reunion, I have not seen every single season of every single franchise, but out of the ones that I have seen, I have not seen a more surgical breakdown of receipts. I have not seen it. I'm sorry. This woman pulled out this man's divorce record. This woman had Chanel bags and had cross-checked the serial number to make sure it was the same fucking bag. Do you understand how surgical that shit is? And then the way she questioned her. When did you get married? When did you get pregnant? When was his divorce? Baby. Rosie got some shit with her too, and she might be next. Really, Rosie? I started off not liking Rosie, but by the end, I did. I did like Rosie. Well, you heard. I don't know if y'all heard Rula at the end of the reunion when she was talking to Rosie, and she said that she was like she got some skeletons in her closet too. I'm paraphrasing because I remember her exact words, but basically she was like Joella got some secrets too that need to be exposed. See, Rula just wasn't ready. Rula knows that there's some shit there. She's got the information. Like when she said, "Did you get kicked out of high school?" There's a story there. She just wasn't ready with the receipts. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, go get them receipts, girl. Oh yeah, the mistress gave Joelle and all that shit. Absolutely, the mistress did. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here. Now, I have watched the Bell Collective and I have watched Raising Kanan. I have to take a break right now because I have to make some phone calls. I got to handle some business. But I'm gonna try to do. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna do both of them today, but I'll try to get like Bell Collective is easy. Raising Kanan, that's a heavy one. I gotta really go into details. But Bell Collective will be like a down and dirty. So I may do Bell Collective in about an hour or so. And then my birthday / tribe meeting will be. I'm gonna make it my regular time. At first I made it 8:30. I'm gonna go ahead and make it my regular time. So we'll do that at 7:45 ish. You said nothing on Bell Collective, a 15-minute review. Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it might be one of them 30-minute reviews. It ain't going to be long because it ain't a lot to talk about. But I'll probably go ahead and do that because that's a light. And then Raising Kanan, I maybe do. I may do Raising Kanan tomorrow. And then I have to do Next Gen NYC, which after tomorrow, I'll be behind 2 episodes. Ugh. I swear I can't get caught up. But that's the last thing I need to get caught up on, right? Raising Kanan and then Next Gen NYC. Yeah. I wanted to try to do The Polygamist, but I have not even started watching that shit yet. Oh, nothing on the first episode wasn't really giving nothing on Next Gen. Okay, so maybe I'll wait till tomorrow and just do both episodes like on Friday or something. Yeah. Yeah, I want to do The Polygamist, but I just haven't started watching it yet. All right, y'all, let me get out of here. But I'll be back in about an hour to do something. It'll be either Bell Collective or Raising Kanan. It's probably gonna be Bell Collective though. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.